The first week we arrived in Bali, it was maybe the second or third night, our program told us that there was going to be a trance dance in the village kind of late at night, and they have these every once in a while. It was pretty intense. There was a lot of music playing, and it was describing the story of the goddess Rangda versus Barong, kind of like good versus evil. And so it's kind of a play, and there's all these holy rituals being performed with a lot of offerings and costumes. Everything's very sacred, and so because of this ritual, it causes a trance dance to happen. And so there's people kind of like dancing, and as the night gets later and later and the music gets more intense, people just start going into a trance, and like their eyes are rolled into the back of their head, and they're kind of like possessed by spirits and being just, they're gone, and they're just spirits in their bodies, and they're kind of just seizing and screaming and running around and dancing with their eyes closed or something rolled into the back of their heads. And then they get knives, and they're all running towards Rangda with a knife, trying to kill her, but the knives just bend, and then they try to stab themselves. And there was no bloodshed, and then they sacrificed a pig. I never thought that I would see something that out of this world. Everything is very, very family-oriented, and so all the families live together in a compound, and that's also reflected in their language. People there don't even have names. It's just like a title that represents like their position in the family. Like Wayan is the firstborn, and then there's a word for the second and third and fourthborn, and it's all related to family. The way that you would refer to a woman at the market, you would call her Ibu, which means mother, and that's just how you kind of communicate with people. And then on top of that, there's also the aspect of kind of being in the present moment that's influenced by their language, because they don't have any tenses, and they also don't have any genders, so it kind of breaks things down and simplifies it so that you can kind of be present and be within a community. It's really hot. You're constantly being bitten by mosquitoes. I feel like the people there are immune to it, but we are constantly getting eaten alive. And you have to shower twice a day. You'll actually get like a rash if you don't shower all the time, because you're just sweating all the time. And so it's very common. Small talk there consists of asking each other, like, have you showered yet? Or like, have you eaten? It's very personal, but it's also just a way to ask someone how they're doing, if they're relaxing. We thought that was pretty funny, just asking everyone if they've showered. My host family there makes a living off coconuts, and so they make coconut oil and bowls. The fruit in Indonesia, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of mangoes and avocados and oranges, and they have this thing called a snake fruit, so it's like a little fruit with snake skin almost. It kind of tastes like candy. There are so many different types of bananas, and they're really delicious. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in the world is these rolling hills, just all terraced with rice fields, and so there's just water and little rice plants growing, and you can see the sunset and the sunrise reflecting on the water. And then you have this village by a huge river where you can bathe, and all the people in this village are just so kind.